The story begins with Batman and Green Lantern having lunch in the Watchtower's cafeteria. Seeing Hawkgirl, Batman asks whether John has any feelings for her. John quickly denies it and claims that he's moved on and is now seeing Vixen.
I'm seeing Vixen now.
Batman scoffs in disbelief, so John tries to turn the tables and asks Batman,
What's going on between you and Diana?
Batman outright denies, but later states that his work is too important for him to be distracted by a relationship, while admitting that Diana has many admirable qualities. The timing cannot be more perfect than that, as Wonder Woman is standing right behind him at that moment. Having heard a good deal of what he said, Diana seductively tells him to
keep digging.
That romantic moment is interrupted when an intruder alarm goes off. The three heroes follow the alarm only to be ended up in Batman's quarters. David Clinton, a small-time physics professor from Gotham City, developed a time-traveling device. While the invention was magnanimous, he is using it to steal artifacts. One of them is Batman's utility belt. When he was discovered by Batman and Team, he escapes into a time portal, but Team also manages to follow him. Batman, Diana, and John, the three of them, arrive in a locale that looks like American Midwest. But before finding anything, they are ambushed by three highwaymen. Yet it was not my way but highway. The three highwaymen got at last. Dressed like a cowboy and cowgirl, Bruce and Diana look more and more appealing to the viewers as a couple. Before getting on horseback, Batman sets everyone's attention on a newspaper. This is in fact American Midwest, the territory of Oklahoma in 1879. Soon after, the two cowboys and sexy cowgirl get on the horseback and ride into the nearest town, Elkorn. In the town, Batman claims that he wants to explore the vicinity and they enter a tavern. Right away they see what is wrong. The new sheriff, Tobias Manning, and his thugs are equipped with radically advanced weapons. After losing a hand of poker, Manning throws his opponent in jail. Diana wants to free the unjustly imprisoned townsman, but Bruce doesn't want either a confrontation or a blow-up of their cover. However, in the end, Bruce gives in to Diana's wish.
Then it's settled. We'll break him out after sundown.
At night, the League goes to break the townsman out. He introduces himself as Bartholomew Aloysius Lash, aka Bat Lash. His cellmate is David. David explains that Manning stole his time machine and has been using it to poach advanced technology from the future and make himself ruler of the town. However, before they leave the jailhouse, they are attacked by Manning's thugs. Without any guns, Batman still beats the hell out of those thugs. While the League was capable of subduing the close combat, they were at a great disadvantage when it comes to long-range combat, because they were stuck in the jailhouse and were continuously soaking in gunfire. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a new Justice League born in Wild West comes to their rescue. Jonah Hex, El Diablo, and OhiYesa Smith, the former sheriff of Elkorn, are the Justice West.
OhiYesa said that he used to be the sheriff of Elkorn until Manning ran him out of town with some magic powers of his.
He whipped me good. Ran me out of town like a stray dog.
Since then, Manning has been enslaving the townspeople regardless of being a man or woman, treating them like animals. So
the new and old Leagues travel to Manning's headquarters in the desert to make one final stand. The camp is surveilled by cameras and android exoskeletons. League tried to be sneaky, but 31st century technology is pretty darn good. Manning and his men confront the two Leagues with an arsenal of bizarre weapons, including robotic dinosaurs, main battle tanks, and android exoskeletons. United League overcomes Manning's men, and Smith personally bests Manning in a knife fight to reclaim his rightful position. Amidst the calamity, freed David snatches the time belt away and disappears into another portal. Again, Batman, Jonah, and Wonder Woman follow him, but this time they arrive not in the past, but in the future. And the place is none other than the home turf of Dark Knight. Welcome all to the 31st century Gotham City. Yet as soon as they arrive, they are immediately confronted by the Jokers, Bonk, Chucko, Dee, Ghoul, and Wolf. Fortunately, they are soon joined by that era's Justice League Unlimited, Batman 2, Static, and Warhawk, who is surprised to see his dad, John Stewart. The Jokers readily engage with the Justice League. New heroes and the villains have been upgraded with cybernetic weapons that are advanced even for that time. The group had no choice but to retreat, but they refused to do that except for Terry because they wanted to fight the Jokers. The futuristic Batman, Terry McGinnis, tries to open up a boom tube, but his mother box is destroyed. After an overwhelming battle, Green Lantern gets an idea. Static creates a blinding light, followed by John Stewart creating a maze to distract the Jokers as they dive into the maze to chase the Leaguers. The new and old Justice League goes to the ruins of Hamilton Hill High School. which serves as headquarters for what is left of the League. The three who have already appeared, plus the aged Bruce Wayne, surprising his younger self at seeing how he lived long enough to reach a ripe old age. Warhawk introduces himself as Rex Stewart. John asks who his mother was, although it becomes pretty obvious after seeing his winged suit.
Shayera was one cranky pregnant lady. Although to be fair, if I'd laid an egg that size...
He's kidding, Dad.
They explain that David Clinton has decided to emulate Tobias Manning and made himself a warlord in his own time, now calling himself Lord Chronos. Static finds hope in the fact that the elderly Bruce is still alive. Logically, that means that whatever the younger self is there to assist them with, they already know they'll win. Unfortunately, Bruce has no memory of traveling through time. Meanwhile, in the salon of the Titanic, Chronos wonders aloud how the Justice League Unlimited members were able to intercept the Jokers. He fixes Chaco with a glare and then opens up a time window, showing Chaco accepting a bribe from the futuristic Batman in exchange for information of when and where the Justice Leaguers would arrive. He punishes Chaco by sending him back to the time of the dinosaurs, just before the cataclysmic event that killed them off. Returning to the future, Chronos orders the remaining Jokers to track down the League. Alone with Enid, Chronos crows that he's proven her wrong. Now openly terrified, Enid begs him to forgive her, but he coldly turns his back on her. As a result of Chronos' recklessness, serious disruptions in the space-time continuum have begun. To the modern Batman and older Bruce's horror, Wonder Woman fades away. There are even signs that the universe itself is moving towards entropy. The modern Batman is able to write a program to shut down Chronos' time belt, but they need to find him first. The combined League captures Ghoul and Batman interrogates him. Ghoul is initially defiant, and the mature Bruce Wayne, disgusted that he was ever that green, shows his younger self how it's really done.
Everything.
I wet my bed until I was 14.
Soon, Ghoul is spilling everything he knows in a rapid voice. He says Chronos moves around each night, never staying in the same place, but Ghoul knows where his wife is. In the middle of their search, John phases out and is replaced by Hal Jordan, who calmly assures them all is well. The League confronts Enid, who is comfortably staying in a pyramid. She is as contemptuous of her husband as before, though now she is also afraid of him. She says that his moving around is a myth, and he always stays in the same place. That place is the Elkorn town jail. Hal then fades away, and John comes back. Before they can grab Chronos' time belt, however, Enid rouses him awake, spoiling their ambush. Chronos summons the Jokers. In the ensuing battle, Static is sucked into a suddenly appearing time portal. Once again, a huge brawl spills out in the middle of the Colosseum. Another time shift occurs where a group of soldiers appear. They believe everyone to be monsters and shoot at the futuristic Batman. He is injured but soon becomes captured and tied together by 4 clones of Dee. They proceed to electrocute him, and he screams in agony. Bruce mourns the loss of his successor. As the universe itself starts to collapse, Chronos declares that it's time for another approach. Then he gives Enid a farewell peck on the cheek and disappears into another time portal. John and the modern Batman follow, and they witness that he is now heading to the beginning of time, which will enable him to rewrite the history of the entire universe and become a god. As they hurtle towards the source, they catch up with Chronos, and the modern Batman uploads the debugging program into the belt. They are still heading towards the source when Batman and John open their eyes and find themselves in the Watchtower cafeteria. Wonder Woman joins them, having no memory of what they've done. John and Batman are the only ones who remember what happened. John sees Shayera Hall and remembers Warhawk. John asks about what happened to the Chronos. Batman, smiling, says he reprogrammed the belt to ensure that Chronos would never come to exist. Time passes by after several decades of peace with the Justice League. Things start to change back in Metropolis. A commuter monorail loses control and starts speeding down the wrong track, on a collision course with another. Answering the emergency call, Micron boards the train and manages to save the guard on duty. He then uncouples the passenger cars and derails the train as it was on course to clash head-on with another. However, as soon as Micron tries to exit the train, in the ensuing crash, Micron is badly wounded. In Gotham City, Batman is chasing down Ink, who catches sight of a nearby civilian and wraps herself around him to hold him hostage. However, the civilian spins at superhuman speed, splattering Ink in all directions, and revealing himself to be Superman, a bit older, a bit grayer, but still as strong and active as ever. Terry McGinnis is awestruck. The two return to the Batcave, where Superman pauses to look at Bruce Wayne's more familiar Batsuit in the display case, before greeting his old friend since their last adventure. Superman tells him that he wants to offer Terry membership in the Justice League Unlimited. Bruce ponders if Terry is supposed to be a replacement, but Superman says that Terry has earned a spot. Terry accepts Superman's invitation to visit the Watchtower. Terry's arrival is immediately greeted with hostility from a surprised Big Barda and Warhawk, as Superman decided to invite him without first consulting his teammates. Terry receives a more civil reception from Cairo and Aquagirl. Justice League members walk out, leaving Terry to think this was a bad idea. In private, however, Superman confides to Terry that he suspects one of the League members of trying to sabotage and kill the others. Superman reveals Micron's current state as he is recuperating in a stasis tank. Superman explains to Terry that Micron was taken down by a method that only an insider would know how to use. Terry is reluctant to suspect Earth's greatest heroes, but begins reviewing the files of each League member. Marina, aka the Aquagirl, appears and apologizes for her initial coolness and invites Batman to join her on her training swim. He politely declines, as he has a lot of Justice League homework to catch up on. Once Marina leaves, Terry watches her entering the tank through the security cameras, along with the rest of the League and other parts of the tower. As Big Barda and Warhawk are practicing in a training room while Cairo meditates, Terry contacts Bruce Wayne. Having looked away during the conversation, Batman turns back and sees that the camera focused on Marina has gone blank, rushes down, and sees her in trouble. Terry discovers the tank to be malfunctioning as it's beginning to overheat, and the door refuses to respond to the controls. Terry's initial attempts to break open the door fail. He rushes to the training room, seizes Barda's Mega Rod from her hand, then runs back and blasts the door open, flooding the antechamber with water and rescuing Marina. While alive, Marina has been injured, and Barda demands Batman to explain what he did, but Marina defends him, revealing the tank malfunctioned. Barda takes Marina from him. Superman and Terry investigate the tank's control panel, finding it has been sabotaged. Superman confirms his suspicions. There is a traitor among the group. Later, Terry does a flyby patrol of Metropolis while at the same time confiding his feelings to Bruce. Just then, a distress call comes, saying that a large portion of the city is threatened by a series of explosions. The League, including Batman, helps save civilians and minimize the damage. Batman is accompanying Warhawk, who apparently receives another distress call on the JLU frequency. Warhawk tells Batman to stay behind while he flies up to meet the threat, an incoming ballistic missile. Batman ignores him and follows along in the Batmobile. Warhawk seals his armor and clamps onto the missile, pushing it off course. Batman congratulates him when suddenly the missile explodes, taking Warhawk with it. The explosion from the missile causes the Batmobile to crash down to the city, where Batman retrieves Warhawk's helmet. The rest of the team arrives and are devastated over Warhawk's death. Barda demands to know what happened, and Batman begins to explain, revealing that only Warhawk got the message, but Barda doesn't believe him. Superman arrives and tells everyone that once they find out who set the bombs, then they'll be closer to finding Warhawk's killer. In the Batcave, Bruce reviews the footage from the Batmobile's recorder. Bruce applies a spectral analysis, which shows the missile being hit by a beam of some kind just before it exploded. Bruce tracks the beam back to its source, Superman's heat vision. As unbelievable as it seems, the traitor is Superman himself. Terry prepares to go back to Metro Tower, determined to warn the others, but Bruce states he needs to do more. Bruce reveals a hidden vault behind the Bat costume display case. Inside a lead container lies a large rock of kryptonite, about the size of a nail. Bruce explains that this is not the first time Superman has gone rogue. Reluctantly, Terry accepts the kryptonite. Coming back to the Justice League Watchtower, Batman shows the footage to the rest of the JLU members, excluding Superman. Barda, having known Superman the longest, refuses to believe it, instead suspecting Terry of fabricating it. The two quickly begin to argue, and angered, Barda attacks Batman. But before she can do any further harm to him, Cairo stops her and traps her with his ring, while Marina tends to Batman. Then suddenly, they hear a voice agreeing with Cairo. Warhawk reveals himself to be alive and well, in a surprise turn of events. Everyone is overjoyed since Warhawk is alive, and when asked of how he survived, he confides that he became suspicious when he received a distress signal when Batman didn't, and thus what tackled the missile was an empty suit of armor, remotely controlled. Warhawk has also gained new respect for Terry because of his refusal to stay behind and believes his suspicions of Superman. The team confronts Superman, caught in the act of tampering with Micron's stasis field. Superman becomes defensive and denies their accusations. To their shock, an alien eye pops a hole in his tunic, and Superman attacks. The others are no match for him, and Batman is about to use the kryptonite, but hesitates, and the belt compartment is knocked out of his hand in the fights. Micron, awakened from stasis, seizes hold of Superman, which allows Batman to retrieve the kryptonite from a vent it fell in, but is forced away from confronting Batman by Barda's Mega Rod and flies away. Micron is returned to stasis while Warhawk is treated, and Cairo searches for any new sightings of Superman, but finds nothing. Terry admits his hesitation to Bruce, but Bruce notes that now, because of Superman's power, Terry knows better. The others speculate that Superman has escaped to his Fortress of Solitude, and although none of them know where it is, Terry knows that only Bruce Wayne does. The team boom tubes to the fortress and notices that one of his captive creatures has escaped recently. They soon find Superman waiting for them, and after a brief fight, Batman manages to disable him with the kryptonite. Pulling off his tunic, they see a starfish-like creature planted on his skin. Galactic travelers Cairo and Barda have never seen one, but since she can read minds, Marina connects telepathically with it and learns its story. Several centuries ago, the creature occupied an aquatic world, but was abducted from its home by the Preserver. The Preserver later kidnapped Superman, but Superman broke free and sent the Preserver into space to his death. Having no way to return the beings to their rightful worlds, Superman adopted the collection of creatures and housed them in the fortress. Though it was still little more than a prisoner, now Starro had a plan. Starro decided to gain control of Superman since it witnessed the Kryptonian strength. Decades later, while Superman was feeding the star creature, it leaped onto his face and took control of his mind. It has been controlling him for years. The others ask why it has waited so long before trying to kill the rest of them. Marina opens a door to another chamber and sees hundreds, maybe thousands of star creatures nesting in an underground pool. Under the creatures' direction, Superman was breeding them. As they look closer, several other creatures jump out of the pool and attach themselves to the other Leaguers. Only Batman remains free. Superman is released, and the kryptonite shard is flung away. The others attack Batman, but he flees in the Batmobile, sent by Bruce as a precaution. Starro with Superman pursues, while the others prepare to open an underwater door that will release the creatures into the ocean. Starro catches up with the Batmobile and cuts off one side with Superman's heat vision. Starro confronts Batman, offering him a chance to be one of us. Batman declines, luring Starro close enough to hit it with a grapple from the Batmobile that electrocutes the creature, disrupting its control and allowing Superman to pull it off his chest. Superman recovers, not remembering what he's been doing. Terry quickly fills him in as they fly back to the fortress. Superman arrives with a captured Batman on his shoulders and tricks the other members. Soon, Superman and Batman ambush them and attack, freeing Warhawk, Barda, and Cairo from the spawn, while Batman dives into the pool to stop Marina opening the door, but he's too late. Superman starts tearing huge rocks free and dropping them down, saying they have to block the exit at any cost, even if it means killing Batman and Marina. The others reluctantly aid him. They succeed in blocking the entrance, knocking out Marina, but Batman narrowly saves both her and himself. Superman's heat vision stuns the spawn attached to Marina as she recovered. The League collects all of the creatures into a lantern construct tank, with Starro struggling away from the electrified grapple, being the last one. Marina communicates with Starro and discovers the location of their home world. She borrows Barda's mother box and booms them to the coordinates, where Cairo drops them into their native ocean. Terry McGinnis, the new Batman, has now earned the heartfelt respect and gratitude of the other Leaguers, who are eager for him to join. But Terry can't overlook that the others almost sacrificed him and Marina. Just like Bruce Wayne once did, Terry also walks away from joining the League, because the Dark Knights do not bow down to anyone. Thank you for watching Second Look. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more awesome videos. Have a nice day.